y'all, Farmer Dre back at it. Folks, out here in the apple orchard today, I want to give you guys a quick little update and some of the struggles of growing apples here in our microclimate in Southwest Missouri. So apples are what makes our farm Gardener's Orchard. Apples have been on this piece of property since 1981. Granted, there's no more original trees that have been in the ground, but apples is what makes us an orchard, and that's what we advertise on. So the previous owners planted 20 acres of apple trees back in 1981. The previous owner, him and his wife, came out here and hand planted with a shovel 4,000 trees of apples, and that was back in 81. So our family took over and purchased the farm from them back in 2013, and ever since then we've been planting, growing, and having an apple orchard. Apples are very, very tough where we're from. Some of the struggles that we go through, it's just a battle. And what the biggest battle and the biggest struggle of growing apples in our area is the frost, the late spring frost. For the past 10 years, since we've owned this on April 20th, there's always been a spring frost. Some years it's not as bad, some years it's devastating. So these apple trees here have been in the ground for 6 years now. If you guys go back to some of my original videos on YouTube, we planted these trees back in 2018 and 2019. So they are finally in full production. They finally fill up the entire trellis system. And for the first time this year, we have a full apple crop on these trees. So we're finally gonna start making some money off the apples. But some of the struggles, the different diseases and the different problems we've been having. The hardest part about growing apples is setting a fruit on the trees. Once they're set, you get a fruit set, that's the first struggle to go through. The second struggle is keeping a disease called fire blight out of your tree. So fire blight is a bacteria disease that gets in through the blossoms, and whenever it gets in the blossoms, then it goes ahead and it gets into your wood and kills off entire trees, branches. And that has been a struggle for me on our farm here, just because not knowing much about growing apples. The previous owner didn't really tell us too much. He did, but we just didn't ever experience it firsthand. Last year was a devastating fire blight year. We planted a bunch of new trees, and about a third of them, they either got killed to the trunk or multiple branches died on them. So figuring that after we set a fruit, so it's just been problem after problem. And like this year, for example, we have a beautiful fruit set, as you guys can see here. Beautiful apples on the trees, just dangling off here like grapes. We're gonna have an awesome year. But then last week we got about a 20-minute hailstorm that came through here. So about 80% of our apples, I'll be more conservative here, will be about 50% of our apples have got hit by hail, which it's just a struggle. I mean, apples are just absolutely tough. I mean, if you do set an apple crop, then you have so many other different variables that can damage your crop. So a lot of my apples here are dinged up and bent up. One of the blessings of how we market our product through our U-Pick is a lot of folks who come out here. Apple orchards aren't very popular in our area since it is so tough growing an apple crop. So whenever people come out here for U-Pick, they don't really care as much if it's pretty. They do care. We try to do our best of a job in our power to grow an awesome crop. But if you do have other issues like hail or some other issues, they don't really mind. They're still going to pick the apples. So that's why knowing your market and having a diversified farm is so important, where folks are coming out here more for the experience than coming out here to pick. And of course, we do make our own apple cider here on the farm. So if we do have a terrible year or a lot of hail or a lot of apples that the folks don't want to pick, then we come through here and pick the apples ourselves. The variety right here is called Liberty. Liberty is an awesome variety to grow. It's very grower friendly. So it's super easy. The tree grows nice and big. They don't have as many diseases as other varieties. But you can see here that hail came through here and dinked up a lot of our apples. I mean, it is a sad day here on the farm. This was last week, and I'm telling you, we had a perfect stand of apples, but now every single one almost. The only ones that don't have any problems are the ones underneath that are protected. But on this high density system, we're trying to grow a fruiting wall of apples. So the fruit is more exposed. So like right here, you know, this fruit here is damaged. The only two fruit right here, undamaged, untouched, just because it was protective. So a lot of foliage is required, but still, it's not a perfect situation. So this row here is Liberty. This row here is Fuji. And these started blooming a lot earlier, so we got a little bit of spring frost damage on these. But the fruit is still looking good. We came through here and started hand thinning, where on some of the other varieties, like Liberty, we hand thinned. Fuji, we didn't have to since there's not as a prolific crop on here, but they're still looking awesome. But it's always been a struggle. Like I said, it's always something every year, but this year, at least we have apples on our trees. Big thing I also learned about growing apples is you want to keep a very clean orchard floor, especially around your plants, your apple trees. The different weeds are going to compete with your fruit, pull away nutrients, pull away the water, the moisture. So I'm still learning and I'm still struggling to figure out the perfect system for an orchard floor management to get it going. But so far we've been doing okay. There's not too many weeds. There is a few spotty weeds here to come through here, but we've been able to keep it somewhat very clean, and that's the goal. No weeds to ever grow. We're starting to dabble into the pre-emerge, and we still use a lot of post-emerge. Come through here and clean them up and keep the trees nice and green, healthy. No other pressure from the weeds, no insect pressure, no disease pressure. That's the goal, and then you'll have a perfect climate to grow apples. About 80% of all the apples we do grow here on the farm now are all on this high density system. We are using dwarf rootstocks, and then we are trellising all of our apples. This just creates a better environment and a better situation for our U-pick customers. The little kids and moms will pick from the lower to the bottom of the trees. The dads and folks that are tall like me can come through and pick some of the tops of the trees. Then we have a brownie, it's a hydraulic ladder. We'll come through there with a platform and pick all the tops and either sell them to the farm store or make cider out of them. And then of course we still have a few rows of the traditional style, which they have an excellent crop on them this year as well, of just self-standing trees. But you know, that's the hardest part, is it doesn't matter if it's self-standing or trellis. If you get hit by hail, it is kind of done for. So I mean, from a beauty perspective, you know, cosmetically the apples will still be, you know, still have great flavor, they'll still be looking good, but cosmetically they are destroyed. So it's just part of it. As the summer goes on, I'm going to try to keep you guys on track of how the apple process is going and how we are, you know, some of the stuff we're doing for the trees to make them look awesome and amazing, of course, in harvesting the fruit. So I'll keep you guys tuned in for the ride. But that's going to be it for today's video. Do you guys have any questions or comments about apples? Go ahead and leave them down in the comment section below. I'm going to do my best to answer you guys' questions. This is going to be it for today's video. If you guys haven't already, go and hit that subscribe button. Smash that like button if you guys enjoyed today's video. Don't forget, hit that notification icon so you guys can be notified whenever I do upload a video. I want to say thanks for watching up to this point. Y'all have a good day, and we will see you next time.